Hey everybody, so this is going to be a short instructional on a straddle press handstand from the ground. And for starters, this movement first came to me in the ashtanga primary series in a posture called Konasana and the B variation. And from here, just a simple jump back, rocking forward, planting the hands, and then the feet come back. And so that's the basic skill of it. The legs are up, your weight is leaning back. As you lean forward, you can bend the elbows and send the legs back. And then go through your Vinyasa. It's an inhale to lift and exhale to send the legs back. However, this is an instructional video for my recent level 6 Sadhana Yoga Chi Vinyasa. In which case, we open to the side. You could open to the front, but we open to the side for Konasana, and then it was a fold forward. In the Ashtanga Konasana, you grab the feet. In this variation, you're either planting your hands, or what I do in the video is I plant the elbows and rest the chin. But it's an active protraction. I'm training myself to push as if I'm pushing the wall away from me, or the floor away from me, and I'm pushing my butt back. Same thing if I was on my hands, I'm pushing, but I'm stretching. So I'm stretching with the push. I'm active, even if I'm flat, I'm pushing the hands away. Because that's what you need the action you need in a handstand is pushing away. Even if the arms are seemingly locked, you can push more, push more. So when I'm in Konasana, the feet are dorsiflex. Plantar flexion, dorsiflexion. Then we come up to a second variation, where the name of this mudra escapes me at the moment, but basically I'm bringing the fingers to my trapezius and lifting the elbows, flexing the biceps, and then this will help open the chest. But it's a protraction, and I'm training for the handstand position. Here, maybe I point the feet, because in the handstand, pointing the feet helps maintain a skeletal line, which handstands, once you get up, shouldn't be very much effort. You're just stacking bones. You know, if you've ever, I did a handstand once with my girlfriend hugging my back, which is, an added 130 pounds or whatever she weighs. Once you get up there, though, the bones are just stacked. Getting up was tricky, but so pointing the feet helps to engage the legs, and then that's one bone. It effectively makes the leg one bone, which just makes the whole motion easier. So look up, do my 5 breaths here. Then the press. Okay, so it could be something as simple as like in the Utkatasana handstand press. You just lean forward and core weight into the hands. Maybe you bend the knees so you can get a little deeper. The key is how are you connecting to the ground? In the straddle press, having hands directly under the shoulders will help. But I definitely need the whole surface of the palm flat, especially the base of the first knuckle. You can grip with the fingers or spread long, just the palms gotta be flat. And in a handstand, it's kind of like a motorcycle motion where if your weight is falling overhead, then it's this way. You're using your wrist strength down. If your weight's falling in front of you, because I would be upside down like this so that the legs would come down, then more of this will take your weight back over your center. So you're constantly playing with this motion. So I recommend the sweet spot's about an inch in front of the heel of the hand. Okay, so you could just rock forward and plant weight, point the feet, 5 breaths here. In the pose, in the sequence, it's a lift up, 5 breaths handstands, and we come down and then go back to a seated sequence. Other strengthening exercises could be as simple as lifting a leg for the duration of 5 breaths. And you want to do both sides, obviously, equally. I keep the leg as straight as possible. You can even try it with both. This will start to develop the core strength you need for the straddle press. Core strength meaning basically the hip flexors, psoas, TFL, quadratus femoris, and iliacus. And you can also try to lift up and hold. Maybe you can't quite get up to a handstand, so you just hold here for 5 breaths. Okay, so the actual pressing up to a handstand. Again, this is going to require straight arm scapular strength. So my arm is locked at the elbow, and then I need scapular strength. All of the rotator cuff muscles, subscapularis, infraspinatus, teres minor. A lot of those are easier to engage with bent arms. I don't really recommend that, but if you're just trying to grunt your way through it or achieve some level of success with the motion, it's not above me to bend your arms, get your legs over your head, and then just press to straight. I haven't done that in a while. I might demo it here in a second. Another thing you can do to help feel the sense of lift is to roll into it. You gotta have strong finger strength for this so you don't roll over your fingers. And if you do, if your weight gets too far forward, rather than face planting, you just quickly take a hand forward and cartwheel out. So I'll show one what I'm meaning and then one with the cartwheel out. Okay, so I might either lean back, I could even do a full roll, and then I come forward, and oh, that's as far as I got, but I got a little higher. If I go too far forward, then I catch myself like that, rather than face planting or hurting the wrists. And you don't have to rock all the way back. It could just be lift the legs and then rock forward. As I've said in other videos, the completion of the exhale is when you initiate the press. Therefore, the initiation of the inhale is the initiation of the press. But when I tell people this, and some of my students, that the inhale initiates the press, inevitably they inhale and then they press. It's got to be simultaneous. So it's easier if the command is at the exit, at the extinction of the exhale is the commencement of the press. As soon as I finish exhaling, that's when the press starts, and then inhale. The psoas fires when the diaphragm fires. Their fibers run together. And so the inhale is a diaphragmatic flexion that will help flex the psoas, which will pull the thighs into the belly. It's a hip flexor, and that will keep your center over your hands easier. I've seen girls with much skinnier arms than me do press handstands. I've seen girls with skinnier arms than me relative to their body do one-handed press handstands. It's about getting your center over your foundation and having enough core awareness to be able to rotate until body parts stack up over the balance. In the process of learning that, though, you will need to strengthen and muscles will come. Okay, so you can just pour weight into the hands, you can do leg lifts, you can do trying to lift up for 5 breaths, you can roll into it, maybe you do that more than once to start to get the motion of the lifting, and that's a success. You don't have to do the whole handstand. When I press up to a handstand, I want to keep the elbows as locked as possible and truly focus my gaze between my hands and with the sensation of drishti, which is the yoga gaze, is a projecting of your sensations, a projecting of all 5 of your gross senses. And so it sounds weird, but I'm seeing with my hands. I'm seeing with my sense of touch. And I'm deeply connected and I'm involved. I'm investing my awareness in how my hands feel. In all positions. If I'm standing on my feet, I invest in how my feet are connected. If I'm doing a down dog, I'm investing in how my hands and feet are connected. This handstands especially because it's one of the more challenging balance poses in all of yoga. So I'm deeply invested in that motion. And again, it can take hours and a lifetime, really, to train for a good handstand, to find that good line. What I can say, in brief, is locked elbows, locked knees, point feet, legs zip up tight together, gaze between the hands. Those are the key facets of it. Finding core awareness is really, really tricky. If you know how to do a posterior pelvic tilt, it's going to feel like you're in deep posterior pelvic tilt. Reach for the sky with the feet. You know, if you get to the point where you're pressing up to a handstand from here and maybe balance is a thing for you, send me a message and I can give you deeper pointers. But for the purpose of this video, I want to keep it concise for everybody. Okay? So we go from the mudra, and then I exhale, inhale, and exhale. So I just lost my balance there, but it would be an inhale up to the handstand and exhale down. You saw I lifted the legs to initiate the roll. It could be from a full roll backwards, which would be an inhale to roll back, an exhale roll forward. At the end of the exhale commences the lift. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, any way that you come down safely, that's okay. In the video, we go back to the straddle, exhaling, try to return to seated, and then come forward. You know, you want to have most of the weight on the inside of the wrist joint. Technically, and I forget what this joint is called, but the outer wrist is not a joint. And so a lot of times you can tell if you internally rotate your forearms, you start to feel pain here. You've been putting too much weight on the outside of your wrist. So in the handstand, not only, there's a lot of things to think about, but once you have thought well about all of these principles, they kind of constellate, they organize around the movement. And you don't need to think so much about them, they just happen. So in addition to having most of your awareness here between the forefinger and the thumb, you want to put most of the weight on the inside of the wrist, gripping with the fingers, and then the breath. So watch the video again if you need to, from Kavalam, India. Namaste. And definitely check out my level 6 yoga sequence on ninthlimb.com.